I'm gonna let him in.
Nice.
Is it 20? Yeah, 23. Mm. Hello. Hi, all of you. Can you hear me all right? I sound like Darren now, don't I? Can you hear me?
You have to do the gestures.
Oh, it's been such a long time since I've been on Zoom. I'm so out of practice. I just can't even manage my own screen here. So,
Fortunately, I'm here to add some crucial
have
guidance.
you ever done a Zoom?
Yeah, I used to do them weekly.
Shut.
We're a business. What are you talking about?
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Hello everybody. Happy Friday night. Hope you've got a drink. Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Mm. We're suspiciously low on drink options in this house. So I'm on G&T and you're on Scotch. Right. So you are all muted as you entered, and you don't have to stay that way, obviously. I don't really know how we're going to do this. I think it's just a chat, and then when we all get bored, we'll just disappear. If that sounds all right to you. Um,
Yeah.
I know last time we did this, I had like an order of people that I would call on to ask questions, but today's going to be much more of a free for all because I don't know, just because it is, so because it's Friday. So if should we just ask our question? You can put your hand up. There's like a little thing on Zoom at the bottom under what's it under these days? Under reactions, I think, where you can put your hand up and it puts you to the front of this like top of my screen, and then I can, if you're happy, I can spotlight you and I'll spotlight me as well, and you can ask a question and then we'll go from there. And if there's lots of background noise where you are, then maybe stay muted. Or if you're having private conversations, definitely stay muted. But other than that, there's not really any rules. If you're being noisy, I might just mute you. And I'm really rubbish at monitoring chat. Anyone that's been on Zoom with me knows that. So if maybe you can read the chat, you can interrupt me with questions.
Task.
Okay, cool. Who wants to start? Oh, so we're talking about my in case anyone doesn't know why we're here, we're talking about my Atlantic Bro. So let's go. Ask me questions. No, nobody. I mean, I can keep talking for an hour if you've got no questions, but
Hi,
um
Millie.
hi. Oh, hi,
Hi,
Karen. How are
Carron
you?
here.
Hello.
I used to see you in your shop in London. I used to
Oh,
when
you,
I came on a yarn crawl, I met you a few times.
oh,
Um, I
thank you.
was wondering if you saw any of the other rowing participants while you were doing your own row. How close were you to the other boats?
Yeah, that's a good question. So no, I didn't. Let me add my spotlight. Oh gosh, there I am. I don't. Anyway, sorry. I'm just. There's loads of things popping up on the screen. It's very weird. Yeah. So when we left La Gomera in that bay right in the beginning, just coming away from the island, I could see other solo boats because I set off in the middle of the solos, but within, I would say probably within 2 hours, I didn't like I'd lost sight of we'd all lost sight of each other after about 2 hours. And then after that, I only saw Scotland the Wave. There was this one night when I was getting close to some other boats, looking like I was going to pass them. And Scotland the Wave, I could see it was nighttime and I could see their nav lights. They were probably about 2 miles away, I think, to the north of
I
me.
don't think it got closer than that.
No, they were about 2 miles. So like I couldn't see them at all during the day, but at night I could just see the nav light in the distance. And I also knew they were there because kept setting off my AIS alarm and I kept doing the same to them. We were just sort of doing this that night. And I remember it being a really, really stormy night. So I'd only see their nav lights when the both of us were at the top of a wave. And then between that, we just wouldn't see each other. And the reason that we ended up getting like not rowing away from one another, despite the fact that there were three of them and one of me. It was one of those nights when the waves were really big and we were each of us getting spun and getting pinned by waves and not making very much. It was a really big, scary night actually, and it was happening to sorry. He's just drunk water and just dribbling all over me. Lovely. Um, Yeah, so that was the only time that I saw another rowboat, and then I saw other vessels. But the other thing that I saw that was the closest thing to get to me that was another boat was that ghost dinghy in the middle of the night, which was like this. I was talking to Leanne about that the other day, and it was terrifying. Darren, there's a button here that says "Let people in" that are in the waiting room, and I keep losing it. So if you see it, just do it. Okay, thank you. Um, yeah, so that was the closest thing, and that passed me within like feet. So does that answer the question?
Yeah,
It didn't really count.
did, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I need right. Thank you. Thanks, Karen. That was a good question. Lots of people asked that as well during the thing. I've read some comments since I got back, but I haven't watched any of my videos because it's horrible listening to yourself, isn't it? So I'll get around to it at one point. All right, Galaxy S24. I don't know what your actual name is, but I'm going to spotlight you.
Hello, it's Anne.
Oh, hi,
It's
Anne.
Anne. I don't know how to relabel myself along of the many things I do wrong in
Oh, do
connection
you know
with
what?
it.
I don't have to do anything on Zoom right now, so all good.
I'm wondering if the actual experience was what you expected it to be. And I'm thinking along the lines of before you set off, you were going to delete every single app and not be in contact with anybody but the man sitting next to you generally. But
Not even here.
then you were doing messages every day.
Yeah, no, and that is how it panned out. So the I was planning on sending out my messages every day, but not receiving anything back in. So, and that is what I wanted. So I wanted to be as cut off as possible, but use my videos almost as a video diary for me and for those people that were really interested in following, like you guys, to give something back. But yeah, I deleted the apps. I deleted Facebook, Instagram. I had a very small WhatsApp on a completely different phone number. And then during the row, I think there was twice when I put Instagram back on for maybe an hour. And it was so that I could barge in on Darren's live when he was doing that. And there was another, I think maybe it was just those two lives that I decided to go back on Instagram for, but then I deleted it before I could,
You know what?
you
In all
know, get
seriousness,
oh, hello.
you
Someone.
want to call?
Um, yeah, so I deleted the apps and I didn't want to read. I saw when the first time that I put Instagram on, it sort of goes bing, 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 and I just went straight over and like hit on the Tribe Live, and I could get rid of all of those notifications. And I did read a few bits, and then I noticed that I was sort of looking, and I thought, no, this is not what I wanted, and I didn't like it, so I deleted it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it got a bit confusing as well from our side because I was managing Tribe's Instagram account and Indi was managing just one more row. So there were quite often instances where people were asking questions that Indi and I were answering. And then sometimes the assumption was, I think, that Millie was answering questions because we weren't always sort of signing off as, this is me, this is Indi.
Oh, I
So
didn't
I think
realize.
there was a bit of confusion for some people to think, oh, crikey. And then they thought that they were engaged in this wonderful conversation with you in the middle of nowhere when actually it was us.
Yeah, I didn't.
Back
The only person that I spoke to a lot was Indy every day and my weather routers. And Indy, I'd get feedback like, your videos are too long and it's taking me too long to update them, or everyone's saying blah, 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 blah. And then I would see if I could address that the next day in the next day's video. But quite often I'd completely forgotten what he'd said. So, yeah.
I love the videos.
Oh,
I
thank
love
you.
Yeah.
I know,
everything.
Indy, I know
somebody did.
one of the things I know that he did keep saying to me was one, they're too long, and two, he said I need to hold the camera further from my face, and then would keep forgetting that because I'm not looking at my own videos, and it's a tiny boat, and it is weird to have your arm out here when you're trying to, hold on to stuff so you don't fall. Anyway, so yeah, apologies. There's a lot of videos that look like they were looking straight up my nose, but yeah.
No,
Straight
and,
up.
and, and,
Like this is Sanchez.
and was the experience what you expected it to be, or
Oh, that's such a
was
big
it
question.
totally different? Or
Yeah, that's such a big question. I don't even know where to
yeah,
start with that. Was it what I expected it to be? It was shorter than I expected it to be. I didn't think I'd cross so nearly so fast. And I knew it would be really hard because I'd heard from everyone it's really hard and it's called the world's toughest row and everyone says it's really hard. And I think I thought there would be more moments of it being fun, but generally it was a lot of suffering and which I ended up really liking and miss. I really miss it.
Yeah, I think one of the other things that you're perhaps not factoring in was previous years, there's been a lot of, generally speaking, it's unusual for there to be a crossing where the wind is playing, along and generally speaking, following the rowers. There's always historically some point where they all end up on para anchor, not going anywhere. And I think you had in
I
your
had in my
head
head that I'd be on para anchor.
that would be
My yarn for my para anchor days because there's only ever been one other year where everyone's not on para anchor, and that was in 2017. So that said, it was just very
But
stormy and very
that
difficult.
where you'd had the expectation that you'd be getting some knitting done
Yeah, yeah,
and
and a bit of resting.
a little bit more rest and that sort of
Which
thing.
didn't happen.
And that didn't happen.
But that's all right.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, it was everything I was expecting, but then it also was nothing like there's nothing in the world that could have prepared me for nothing in the world that could have prepared me for it. And they do tell you that. They're like, you won't know how to row an ocean until you've rowed an ocean, and it's exactly right. So yeah. There's so much I want to talk about. Honestly, I mean, I could sit here all
Oh,
night.
go for it.
Lots of hands up.
Okay, yeah. So I'm going to get through all the hands and then we can maybe expand on some topics if that's all right. Would be able to do that.
Thank you.
But I want to talk about the sea and there's just so much. I still really want to talk about it with everyone. So
Yeah, we don't know what to ask, so you tell us.
no, you just ask and it will spark stuff. Lee, you've got your hand up. I'm going to spotlight you. There you are. You just have to unmute yourself. See, I haven't lost that. Have you managed to? It's usually on the bottom. There you go.
Okay.
Oh, you've muted yourself again.
Sorry. I loved your insight on the video you posted the other day about just sitting with yourself and feeling like you're just quite pleased with who you are as a person. And I was just wondering about, like, I don't know how you did it physically, just the amount of energy it must have taken, but also what was the most uncomfortable physical aspect, like not being able to wash your hair enough and things maybe you've decided I don't actually need to do that as much as I usually do and want to let go of it.
That's a great question. Okay, so the most uncomfortable things were for me, it was having wet feet all the time, like without a doubt for me. And I had no idea that that was going to be such an issue, but for me, it was a huge, like I obsessed over it for weeks. And it was only in the last probably 10 days that I kind of let it go and just decided, right, trench foot is just the way that my life is, and that's the end of it. So that was really uncomfortable. And then every day I had, on top of that, there were different areas of my body that would be in quite a lot of pain. And towards the end, as I'd let go of feeling how uncomfortable my feet were, my bum got more and more sore every single day. And I've spoken to like a lot of the other rowers when we were in Antigua about that, and they were like, yeah, it got to a point, I think, where because you're not using your glutes when you're rowing, you're not using your calves much on your glutes, so all of our bum muscles were sort of disappearing, and so our natural padding was disappearing, and probably our seat padding was flattening out, and it just our bums just got really, really painful every day, and it would be all right. You'd sit on your seat and it would hurt a lot, maybe for 40 minutes, and then you'd get going and it'd be numb. But then a wave would tip you slightly off your seat a little bit, and then it'd be back to a lot of pain again. So that was but on top of that, I had my shoulder that I'd injured, and the stickiness of my skin drove me absolutely crazy. And it didn't matter how much I washed my hands or in like really didn't matter. They were always they were so salty, and I could never get rid of, they were just sticky and salty all the time. And again, it took to sort of the last 2 weeks or so before I they say you've got to become comfortable with being uncomfortable, and I'm generally pretty good at that, but I wasn't good at that with my feet and my sticky hands and my sticky skin for quite a long time. But I did get there, and now now, so the second part of your question, what have I let go of? I mean, I pretty much wasn't wearing much makeup before I left, and I'm certainly not now. I'm just not, can't be, I've probably not washed my hair nearly as much since I got back. I just can't be bothered. But it's clear, it's clear I'm not getting stinky or anything. I'm not disgusting, right?
Oh dear.
I'm just not, I'm just not really
I wasn't
bothering
concerned that
yeah, look, and I haven't bothered to like paint my. It actually feels really odd to me that I used to have painted fingernails. Like, and
Yeah.
now I look at them and I just think, why the heck would I stick colors? Like, yeah, that just seems real. I can't imagine going. I know that was really sad for you, but I can't imagine going back to that. Managed to get my wedding ring back on yesterday, finally, but it's never coming off again now. So, um,
I
and
can imagine if you can comfortably poo in a bucket, painting your nails seems really silly.
yeah, and do you know what? Pooing in a bucket was such a good idea. I could do that. Like I could. With Darren, we're talking about like getting a boat to sail the Pacific, and I would just know there's no point in having a toilet on a boat. A bucket is all you need, and it's just the easiest way to deal with that.
Bucket is all you
Bucket
can
is well, I will.
Oh,
We should just
I'm
only have a
gonna have
bucket. No, you
fresh
can have a
water
bucket.
flushing toilet.
We'll have a bucket. I will have a bucket. And also like showers. I'm not taking really, I never took really long showers just for environmental reasons, but I'm very much craving being in the sea, in the cold water and swimming every day. Like I kind of need the pain. I need the pain. I don't know what that means. I need that discomfort. I need the stabby stab of the really cold water at the moment. So I don't know what that's about, but it makes me feel good. Yeah.
That's good. Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad you're home safe.
Thank you. Me too.
And we've enjoyed, Indy clearly doesn't understand women if he thinks any of your videos were too long.
I'll tell him that.
I'm
I
here.
know, poor
Thank you
thing every
very
day. But then,
much.
do you know what? When I got back, I uploaded the videos from Antigua, like 3 of them or whatever, and it did take half a day for them to upload. So I can understand his frustration because I don't know what it
The
is with Instagram.
the problem with the
Oh,
length
he's
wasn't
here.
anything to do. I'm here, yeah. The problem with the length wasn't
Oh,
anything
no,
to
that.
do with the videos themselves. It was just that Instagram isn't able to handle them. It means that you can't use
Okay.
your phone for anything else for the next 3 hours.
Yeah, so I found that, and I decided that that was just an Antigua thing because the internet was really rubbish there, but it's just how it is. So yeah,
Well,
yeah.
you did a
So,
great job,
also the
Indy.
algorithm is not
Oh, thank
The
you.
algorithm hates.
tuned
Yeah, the
to.
algorithm doesn't push it to anyone who doesn't follow you if it's more than 3 minutes.
But that
Oh,
I was all right with
goodness
that
sake.
because it wasn't a goal for me
Yeah,
to be pushed.
exactly. So,
Yeah, so that was fine. It wasn't like a social. I
Yeah,
wasn't trying to find
we'd had a
one.
discussion about that before Millie left to basically sort of say what is the purpose behind doing the videos,
Yeah.
and we'd kind of collectively, I suppose, decided that it was more important for us to provide information and content to the
Honest
likes of you
information,
guys that are
not just pretty
genuinely
stuff.
interested in Millie's life and what's happening than trying to appease the algorithm and then land a video in front of a total random person just because we then end up with another follower or whatever the term is.
But also that's also why we had Indy doing it, so that it was just real and honest and not fucked about with. So yeah. But it did also mean Indy had to sit and manipulate the videos all day in terms of subtitles, which I know from what Darren tells me afterwards was really, really hard because I was crying quite a lot and you had to sit and watch me crying for hours every day, which was awful. So sorry.
Oh,
I'm still,
it's all
I'm
right.
still like, I'm still writing to Andy going, do you want like this guilt wave some more? Do you want anything else? I'll buy you stuff. I'm feeling really guilty. I'm like, what would you like? I'll buy you stuff. So
But you
yeah,
damaged Indy.
I know. Yeah, I've
No,
done.
no, I'm
No,
fine.
I don't know.
Easier
He's
to
a
watch
little
the
bit.
videos, I think, than it was to be out there in the conditions in which they were made.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not.
I think
I
so.
think I think I had it easier than you guys, but anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't know. Anne, you have your hand up. Let me spotlight you. Hi. Oh, Anne, you're not muted, but I can't hear you.
Is it me?
Nope.
Mine off? No,
No, not you.
no.
I
Just
can
speak
hear
really
her.
loudly, Anne. Oh no, put your headphones on. Okay. It's Zoom, it's fine. Zoom's such an asshole program sometimes, honestly. Mm-mm-mm. No,
No.
can't hear you.
You're
Oh, I
directing
can hear
traffic
you.
Oh, there we
from
go. We can hear you
Um,
now. We can hear you now.
yeah.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. Well, I just want to say how proud I am of you because I followed every second you going across every 4 hours. I was checking how far you were. Oh,
Oh,
she's in a
thank
good current, this, that, and the next thing. So I got really excited. So it was really, really good. I was just going to ask you, what was the hardest thing you've had to deal with once you got to Antigua and then when you came home? Because you had been out of daily life. So what hit you when
So
you
in Antigua, I didn't really find anything difficult. So the day that I got off the boat and the next day after that, I was in very much in a place of you could not, there's not enough money in the world that would persuade me to get back on that boat and do another day on it. Like that last, I could talk for 24 hours about the last 24 hours. Like it was hellish, that last bit,
Yeah.
like absolute hell. And so I was just so glad and Antigua, everything was, I was just
Yes.
in absolute heaven. I was with my family. I was on land. I felt strong. I was nice and slim. And I
Yes.
had this stupid sunglasses tan, but it was totally fine. And yeah, everything was good. So yeah, nothing. I felt like it was probably the best time of my life. And that landing, you know how I really wanted it to be daytime. I was so
Yes.
disappointed that I was coming in and in the dark. And actually, I couldn't have asked for a better um
Uh,
like finish to the race. It was spectacular. When I was coming in, I could hear the cliffs and I could see a little bit of the white water, but it didn't scare me as much probably as it would have done in the day because I honestly couldn't even tell how close to the cliffs I was. There was nothing I could do about it.
yeah.
So the fear that I thought I would have about being close to the cliffs just wasn't there because I just couldn't. It was out of my control. I couldn't be scared of it. I couldn't see it. And then the flare and everyone, all the other, like there were so many rowers there and there were so many people and they were
Yeah.
singing and it was loud and the ship's horns and people said to me that I would be so overwhelmed by the smells and the sounds and the lights and I loved it. Like I loved it. It could have been as loud as it wanted. I absolutely loved it, all of it. And I loved that wobbly feeling of stepping onto
Yeah.
the land. I loved feeling like I was drunk and tipsy. And that unfortunately stopped the next day by about mid-morning. I thought I'd hold on to it a bit longer. The guys kept it longer, but like a lot of the girls, we got over it quite quickly. So anyway, Antigua was fine. I was dancing on the beach that next evening and I was out at karaoke. I was having just the best time. But then coming home here, that was hard
Yes.
and has been hard. And it's just
Mhm.
actually starting to get better. So Henry phoned me today to check on me because we'd got together last
Yeah.
week and I was a bit down and whatever, quite a lot down, much downer in the
Yes.
mornings and then it gets better through the day. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm coming out of the other side of it now. So yeah,
Good.
yeah,
Good.
slowly. I did spend yesterday trying to convince Darren that he should row across the Atlantic with me next
Uh-huh.
year on my boat that I haven't sold yet. And I was like, it's a pairs boat. We should both go. And I haven't managed to crack him yet, but
Because
yeah.
that was another question I was going to ask. What next?
Well, so for the first 2 days, I was like, there's no way. There's no way I could like this.
Uh-huh.
People that do this again are completely mental. And then after day 3, I just wanted to go do it again. I wanted to get
Yeah.
back in the sea and back on my boat and go and row another ocean. And I still am desperate to just do it again. But I know I shouldn't. But next, I don't know. Like I know we're going to go sail across the Pacific in a few years' time, but I don't know what's next. I need to find
Next.
something.
Yeah.
I had found
Yeah.
this. I had found the mini Golden Globe race around the world race, and I really want to do that, but that's going to be a
Fantastic.
longer. I'm going to have to
Twist a few arms.
a lot of arms for probably a few years.
Twist a few necks and
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's lovely to have you home. Safe and well.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you for following too. I want to hear
Oh,
from
no.
people about the dot watching as well at some point. So when I finish talking, you guys can tell me about your dot watching experience as well. Julie, I'm going to spotlight you next. You're up here. Hi. You're on mute at the minute, Julie. And after Julie, we've got Sue. So you can get familiar with where your unmute button is.
Hello,
Hi, Julie. How are you?
fine. I loved watching every minute of it.
Oh, thank you.
How did you manage? Because you didn't eat the amount
Yeah.
of food you were supposed to.
Yes.
No, yeah, I didn't even get close. Um,
No, you ate snacks and you don't get enough food from that. I was so worried about you.
and I wasn't the only one. So and I know it's normal. Even when I've been out on training rows, I found it really, really hard to eat. So I knew that would be a factor, which is why I took a lot of snacks and we had a lot of amazing snacks on the boat because I knew that I would fall back onto the snacks when I stopped eating the meals, which is exactly what happened. So
But then
I
you'd say, oh, so now I don't need to drink as much fluid today. Oh my gosh, then I was having kittens.
I never got dehydrated. I was really good at that. I'm generally pretty good at staying hydrated. So I know I drank at least 2.5 liters every day. So that was fine. But with eating, I was hungry, usually hungriest in the morning. So I always had a big breakfast that was usually at least 400 calories. And then it was just discipline and willpower that made me eat a little bit every hour. I tried to eat a little bit. Because I knew I had to, and then I'd lose a lot of energy at some point, and I'd go all wobbly and have to lay down and then make myself eat again. But it is, I mean, I only lost 5 kilos, so I didn't do that
Yeah, I know
badly.
you are amazing.
But
Absolutely
also,
amazing.
I was only 69 kilos to start with, which is very heavy for me, but it's not as heavy as the guys, Steve and Alan, they lost close to 20 kilos.
Yeah,
So
I saw that.
yeah. And there was a lot of us that just had problems with eating. Even the girls, Jess and what's her name? The ones that came, like the female winners, one of them had problems eating and she lost tons of weight as well. So it's pretty normal to lose a whole bunch of weight and it's endurance, so it's not like, yeah, it's not the best thing. I probably could have gone a bit faster if I'd have eaten more. I'm sure I would have gone faster, but I'm really
You were
happy with the way that I
amazing
performed. So yeah, thank you.
and just loved it. And you were so real, and that's what was fantastic. You said it how it was, and you were true.
Thank
And I
you.
think that's what people admire so much.
Oh, I'm glad because I wanted to. Well, everyone that has
It
known
was
me
the
for a
good, the
while knows
bad,
that
and the
I'm not.
ugly.
Yeah, I do tend to give a full picture of it all. And I know some days it was probably a bit harder to watch, but those were the days that I was finding it really hard as well. So yeah, it wasn't
You
all.
had all our love then.
Oh, thank you. And I felt it. Like I really felt it. And when I needed you guys were there. Like I'd love to talk more about this. Remind me later. But the way that I could actually feel it and the bird and anyway, it was amazing. Yeah. Thank you.
Lots of love. We
Thank
we
you, Millie.
really enjoyed it, and thank you for sharing.
Oh, you're welcome. And like I say, I just want to keep sharing. It's very weird. And I'm still speaking to past rowers and solos who are like, I don't want to talk to anyone about it. I've got in my shell and I have been the complete opposite. It's all I want to do is talk about it. So this is so good for me. We should do one of these every single night. Right.
I do.
Oh, poor Derek. Sue, let me add you. Hi,
Is that me?
Sue.
Oh, yeah, it
That's
is
you,
me.
yeah.
Right. Okay. I'll lower the hand. Right. Hi, Millie. I am. There's going to be some similarities between these questions now. So the first thing I want to say is thank you so much, all of you. This was just amazing to watch you, and you've been. Oh, I'm going to cry now.
Oh no, you're gonna make me
You've been.
cry.
You've been so inspiring, and please don't ever apologize for those videos. I mean, though, as the lady previously was saying, the rawness of it all, the genuineness of you as a human and your family. I think we all picked up the emotions of your family. But I can't believe, and I said to my family, I cannot believe how engaged I am with this amazing woman and her family, who I would love to meet personally one day. Buy my yarn from her, inspires me to spend a huge amount of money every month. And look what she's doing to my life. I get up every morning in the middle of the night watching where she is. Is she still all right? So anyway, that's the first bit. I've got that off my chest. I've been wanting to say that to you for a while.
Oh, thank you.
I got two questions. One is about food. I'm going to leave that because that might be the easiest. But the first one really, where does your love of the water come from? I am a woman that has really struggled to find love of water, but I have this desire. I've just hit 73 and I have this desire that I
Oh, wow.
have to go out and jump off a boat into the water. I
Ah,
struggle to
you
jump into
definitely should do it then.
yeah, and I'm gonna use you as inspiration because I stand on the edge of the swimming pool saying, no, I can't do that. But also to go and get into the I live in Hampshire. I am very close to the water.
Mm.
But I'd love to know more about where your spirit, that love of the water comes from.
Yeah, that's such a good question because I grew up in London, nowhere near water. So that, yeah, it is a good question. But I do remember, well, going way back. So my grandparents had to, when they were, all my grandparents were born in India, and when they were very young teenagers, children really, they were all put on big steamboats separately. And sent to East Africa because of the famine in India. And so, there was obviously a bit of seafaring there, although I didn't know that any of this as a child. And then my parents moved to the UK, but they went by aeroplane. But so the boats were sort of there somewhere. I just remember my first memories were in London when we were kids. We would drive out to Brighton every so often. My parents would bundle us all in the car and we'd all go. And I don't know if you know when you're driving from London to Brighton and you get to a point where you're coming kind of down a hill and you can see the sea in front of you and it's over there, and it looks really high. You're like, how can the sea be at my level when I'm and the ground's there? Anyway, and I remember just always being so fascinated by the sea. And we'd get down there and it'd be freezing and grey and full of poo, but I would get in that water every single time, look,
So you're
regardless.
Moana. Have you
I
seen, you know
was
the
the
film
one.
Moana? You know the
Yeah,
film
I
Moana?
would
Yeah.
always just get I'd
Yeah.
take off my shoes and
Wow.
socks and like tuck my skirt into my knickers and in I'd
Wow.
go. And then when in our summers we used to go back to Kenya where my family were or India, and again we'd go to the beaches and I would be in the water. And I remember I used to make such a scene about it'd be a stormy day and no one else wanted to go in and it was silly to go to the beach, but I would throw a tantrum and insist on going to the beach and being in the waves and being more. I've always been
Nothing has changed.
no, I've always been really morbidly fascinated by the waves, and the bigger they are, the more I feel like I should get in them, which I
Wow.
really shouldn't do. But I have a calling to the big wave. Like I'm terrified of them, terrified, but I also need to go in them. So I don't know.
Okay.
It must just be.
Well, it's in there, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. So it's a food question, really, because I was fascinated with all your packs and all your dried bits. What was the best bit of the food that you took with you that you ate?
The best single bit of food.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's such a hard question. So it was probably I had these they were just snacks that gave me no nutrition really at all, but I would reward myself with them. So there was a little packet of tamarind that had been stewed in, it was from the Asian shop, in like a sugary solution, like sour tamarind. And then I had these Chinese plums, salted plums. They're like also another stewed, they're both really strange, but they're like sort of a bit spicy and sweet and sour, and there's no nutrition. They're probably quite bad for you, but they were my favorite thing. So if I did something really really hard, like, or if I'd got in and cleaned the bottom or whatever, something really really difficult, then I would treat myself with a couple of the plums or some tamarind. So that was probably my favorite food. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Bless you.
you're welcome. Thank you, Sue.
Sorry, Millie, can I chip in about a food question while you're on the
Yeah. I
subject?
don't know who's
What?
talking. Sorry, I don't
It's
have
it's
you.
Carron.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
Go.
Sorry.
That's
I was
right.
only going to ask, but why did you have so much food that you didn't like? Why didn't you have food that you knew you were going to like in advance?
So I chose to have variety. So I prefer variety to knowing that I like it and I'm going to have it every day. I'd rather have stuff that I end up not liking. I knew that I wouldn't get to all the food. So I knew that I had the luxury of cooking a meal, hating it, throwing the contents of the meal packet into the sea and keeping the packet and then making another meal. So that was job. I'd rather have the discovery of the differences than have something I liked. And had I only picked things that I liked, it would have taken me probably 2 years to taste all the different types of food and a lot of money. So I didn't have the time to taste it all. I decided to just take the risk of having stuff. And the other thing is, you don't know what you're going to like when you're out there. So I know that when I've been on ocean crossings before, and what the other rowers say, they can say peanut butter is my favorite thing in the world at home, but when you get on the boat, you hate it, and you're craving something that you otherwise didn't like at home. So there was no point in me picking things that I knew that I liked, because I probably wouldn't like it. And that is how it went. So yeah. Yeah. There you go. I just know it from being on the sea before. Like, you like things that, oh, it's all a mystery. Merete, I'm going to spotlight you next. I can see you're knitting. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry for my rocky English.
Oh, that's right.
From Denmark. Yeah, I watch you, and congratulations for doing this. It's been so amazing to follow.
Thank you.
My question is that there was one point where the weather was really, really bad. I followed you every day, and it was really emotional to watch you. You had a really bad night with your auto helm that was broke, and you had to go to the other end of the boat to get tools and back and forth and try all kind of things.
Yeah.
And then you spoke about something that happened, that you heard something that happened to some of the other rowers. And I really tried to figure out what was going on, and what was it that scared you from the other rowers. Was it marlin attacks, or was it that somebody was rescued?
I think the first time, so what was happening was that sometimes on WhatsApp, on my family group chat, there was a few people I had on WhatsApp. So I had my weather routers, and I had my family, and a couple of other people, and a couple of past rowers. And sometimes on the family chat, someone would share, I think it was on this occasion, it was my brother in New Zealand, shared a story about Benoit needing to be rescued, and a couple of other capsizes that had happened in the water nearby. And I was really conscious of the fact that I'd almost been capsized already several times in that last 24-hour period. I'd had lots of big knockdowns where I hadn't gone completely flipped under, but I'd got my shoulder in the water. Like, it was pretty scary. And then with the waves that were coming, and then the water, anyway, it was pretty terrifying. And one of my biggest fears at that time was being capsized while I was outside. So yeah, that was the first. And then I was always worried about the marlin thing. Like, it was my number one worry before I left. So at one point I heard, and that was quite late on, and that wasn't through my family WhatsApp chat. I think that was when I'd called Leanne, maybe. I don't know. I'd spoken to someone, or maybe it was the safety officers, and they told me that there'd been a marlin strike. And yeah, like, so when you're out there and there's not a lot occupying your brain, and I'd taken the decision fairly early to just even stop listening to music and listening to anything. So I was just had my head and my thoughts. So then when you hear marlin, and it sticks, so you're rowing and it's just in your head, and you have to work really hard to get it back out of your head. So it made me wobbly when I heard about these things, because you don't want to focus on fear all the time. It's not a good state to be in. So that just it was just a bit of extra work to not think about that so much. But
I just found it so amazing that you found strength in all that, and you would turn completely like the day after or something. And
yeah, that was one of my, like, even for myself, like, looking at it with some detachment, which was interesting to experience with all that silence. I mean, it was never silent. It was always really loud out there, but like with the silence of like not having anyone else around you, I could see my own detaching and witness my own, okay, I just did that, and now I'm in this place, and I was in that place, and that's interesting. How did I get there? And it happened. Well, it wasn't quick, but it was relatively quick. It was like within a day. So yeah. I had to take that massive fear of being outside. The problem is when you capsize when you're outside, I'm sure you can picture it. So I've got my tether, but the tether is quite long, so you're still flung off the boat, and then you're under the boat, and then the boat rights, and you're in the water somewhere and you've probably been hit by something and your oars have been hitting you and they've probably broken, and then you've got your everything that was on deck flying around, so even your seat, which is attached, but it's going to be somewhere. Then you've got to try and climb back in, which in flat water is difficult, but in the conditions that will have capsized you is really hard. So
Yeah, it
all
must
of
have
that
been
just
really
worries.
scary.
Yeah, it was scary, and we don't wear life jackets. I did get asked a lot beforehand about why we don't wear life jackets, but there's a few reasons. One, the chafe would be unbearable wearing a life jacket and doing this motion all the time. Like you would just be chafed raw. But also, we don't have the automatic hammer in our life jackets engaged. So in a normal life jacket, when it gets wet or submerged, it will inflate. But we can't have that on our boats because we're constantly being doused by waves, and it would just inflate. And there's only so many rearming kits. Plus, it's really hard to rearm and repack away a life jacket once it's inflated. So that's not there. So if you were in the water in a capsized condition, you would need to like be physically pulling on the thing because you couldn't get back in, but it would inhibit you getting back in because you've got this big thing that's stopping your mobility. So there's a lot of
Yeah,
reasons.
then you won't be able to get the life raft out of the boat either.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why we don't. But then if there was a really, really big stormy night and you were out on the deck and you weren't necessarily rowing, then you might wear your life jacket for that night. I never wore mine in the end. And if you're going to leave your boat for a life raft, then you absolutely would be wearing a life jacket if you're being rescued. So yeah,
Yeah.
I've probably said too much there, but
Well,
yeah.
no, but I just want to comment that your insights and you worry about sharing them, you shouldn't worry because it's so gifting for us that has followed you because we learn so much and inspire so much. So please
Thank
tell
you.
everything.
I do. You're right, and I should. And the reason that I don't is because I don't have a lot of clarity around it all yet myself. But also, I don't want to feel like I'm preaching, and it's just
No, you're
uncomfortable.
not preaching, not at all.
Okay. I will just record them as I go along, and if it becomes
Yeah.
clearer, then I'll re-record it maybe. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So we have Leslie. Hi, Leslie. Oh, and Leslie's bloke.
Hello.
Hi.
We've both been following you, of course.
Oh,
Oh, lovely to see you.
you
And
too.
really, you started talking about your experience with the ocean and knowing how much experience you both had sailing and how much you've been involved with the sea. I'm interested to know how it changed during the trip and how you feel about it. I mean, you were saying now you can't wait to get back in the sea,
Yeah.
but that's an interesting progression.
Yeah. And Darren, that was one of the questions you asked me first in Antigua was like, how has your relationship with the sea changed now?
Mm.
Well, because I was going to be concerned that you were going to ruin my sailing trip.
Yeah, because for the first 2 days I just did not want to be getting back in the boat because it had just been so hard. But and my cabin was disgusting. But anyway, I think where it really helped me in the row, and one of the reasons that I did as well as I did, because I did so much better than I thought I would, and I could see there was a point in time in my journey when I went from sort of going through it and just trying to survive and get to the other side to actually, I think I could take those guys. And everything sort of, yeah, I was like, hmm. I had a couple of things that I focused on that I'd learned through sailing. One of them was really about steering and the boat angle to the wind and feeling the windage against my boat and not necessarily always steering to the waypoint, but using those conditions and I think that really helped. And I know that there was a few rowers that just weren't, they'd gotten a waypoint and they were just rowing to it and they weren't really allowing their boat to feel the conditions. So that was really good for me. And then the other thing that I did that I was obsessed about was keeping my navigating so that my line was as straight as it could be, because it takes you a lot longer to get somewhere when you're zigzagging. And I had the luxury of I had a like a auto helm repeater button here behind me, so I could make micro adjustments to my course. But what really allowed me to do that was because I'm so much smaller than a lot of the other rowers. I discovered this weeks in, that there was this way that I could you'd row, and then I could let go this oar, let it skim past this boob without like taking my ribs out, hit my repeater where I wanted to, and then grab it back up and keep going without losing my momentum. And I could only do it because of the slimness of my torso at that point, because I was quite a lot smaller. But it meant that I could make all these tiny, tiny adjustments instead of just getting on shift and rowing hard for 4 hours without adjusting. And so when I'd look at my line at the end of the day, I could see that I'd been a lot more efficient. And also at night, I would wake up. I mean, 20 minutes is the longest I would be continuously asleep, but quite often it'd be every 5 or 6 minutes I'd be up and adjusting my course, which the only way I could adjust it is outside. So I'd have to be up and opening my hatch and adjusting from the outside, which was really inconvenient with those big storms. But I was so just ultra focused on it. Was the only thing I'd got, because I'm not strong, like as strong as the other rowers. Like I can't pull as hard on my oars. But I thought if I could just really focus on steerage, and I know that from sailing, then that will give me my competitive advantage. And that is what it did. That, and the fact that I didn't get off my seat usually for about 10 to 12 hours every day. So, yeah.
But the other thing is, and particularly during those last few days when it was just so traumatic,
It was so
but
hard.
we could see that you were holding a course even in that situation.
Yeah, it was hard.
Whereas other people were definitely all over the place.
So I just didn't take a break. Like that last little bit, and I don't even know how many days it was now.
3 months. It was the last 3 months.
It wasn't. It was probably, it was
3
less than
days.
it was less than 3 days. It was less than 3 days, but for sure for that last 24-hour period, I didn't even like get off my seat to wee. I didn't drink enough water. I didn't wee. I didn't eat. I didn't sleep. I didn't poop. I just couldn't. And quite often I was holding just one oar and rowing really hard with one oar with both hands without taking, because as soon as I took a break, I would be off course, and I just couldn't put the oars down at all. I had my dagger board down. It was really hard going, but yeah, I just knew that if I took a break, I'd end up where Tom did. And because Tom was just sitting behind me, and when he took breaks, and then look, he was like, a full week after me because the weather took him. And I knew that that's what it was doing every time. And this was the really annoying bit. Fraser kept texting me to tell me that he wanted me to go further south. Kept on texting. So he's the safety officer, right? So on deck, I had my phone, and I have the special ping on it for when it's a safety ping, because everything else I can ignore, like in those situations. But it's a safety ping. I have to look at it. And every few minutes he would text to say, Millie, we need you to go 5 degrees further south. And I'd have to put the end of the oars to see this. And I was like, every time you do that, I get drifted further. And in the end, I like absolutely lost my crap with him and just had to say. And then he had the gall to say to Darren, well, if she wasn't texting so much and was rowing some more, then she might make better progress. And I was like, I cannot believe he said that. So I just didn't listen to anything after that. And I just did my own thing and just rowed. So yeah, it was hard.
But the fact that you, even in extremis, you understood that you couldn't pause, that you could, as a layperson, you think, oh, wait for it to pass, but you knew that wasn't going to happen.
No, because even if I'd have stopped, I was going up there. If I'd put my power anchor out, the current and the wind was taking me up there anyway. There was nothing I could have done to not go that way other than just pull really hard to stay where I was. And I just knew that was there was no other tool I could have employed. Nothing.
Oh, yeah. It was amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it was but it's very clear in that situation that when there's nothing else you can do, then you're not fighting with what should I do? Well, I was having a tantrum. I was having a really big tantrum, but yeah, but other than the tantrum, I was doing all right.
Still rowing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Leslie. Okay, Susan. Let me spotlight you. Hi.
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 How are you? It's so nice to see you.
Thank you. You too.
I too also came upon your site, and I think I might have got you when you were, gosh, I don't know, 20 something days in or something like that. But it was
Wow.
really fun, and it was really wonderful to see your videos. Even they didn't seem too long at all on this end, on
Oh,
the
thank you.
receiving end, which was great. But oh my gosh, it has intrigued me so much, and I feel like. I ask myself, could I do that? And would I want to do it? And oh my gosh, and I it's like really speaking to me. So I
Cool.
have so many questions.
Amazing. Well, it sounds like we need to have another separate private session with
Yes,
your
yes,
yeah.
yes. One thing was really how did you prepare yourself mentally and physically also for the journey, knowing that it would be a long time and so physically draining and mentally draining? How did you prepare yourself?
So physically, I had a big workout program that I did for not as long as everyone else. I know everyone else tends to do sort of 3 or 4 years of prep, but I didn't give myself that long. But I did. I worked out every day. I had a program that was written for me by a past rower, so we knew where to focus on my body to make myself fit and how to grow the calluses where I was going to need them and the main muscles that I needed. And that was a combination of some days I would just do lots of strength training and lifting weights, and other days I'd be on the rowing machine on the erg and rowing. And honestly, I think it was probably the strength training in the gym that was the most impactful for me when I was out there. I've been back on the erg since I've been back, and it feels nothing like rowing on the boat. And I'm sure it was useful. That was more mental training too, though, on the erg, like sitting on the erg for so the most was 3 hour sessions on there without like music or watching anything to just try and get used to how slow the time passes when you're doing that much exercise for so many hours. So that was, and I hated it. I hate it. Like there's nothing harder than sitting on the erg. It's easier to be in the sea, and at least you've got stuff to look at. But on there, that was hard. And then the other mental prep. There's really no way that you can prepare for that, I don't think. There are coaches that will sell you a program to help with resilience. Um, and they use lots of different resilience philosophies. I read all those books already. I've read them over the years. I'm kind of into personal development anyway. So I had that under my belt, and I've done like voyages before. We've been through some hard stuff. So I know where I go when I'm panicking, in danger. Um, yeah, I know what happens to me, so I know the phrases that I need to tell myself more often than not. But on this row, it was harder. It was way harder than anything I've ever experienced, and I wasn't expecting the ferocity of the tantrums that I threw out there. They like shocked me, like how feral. And just there was a couple that was just like, whoa, what? But it helped. And the first time it happened to me afterwards, it was like, all right, good, got that done, cleared that.
Yeah.
Had that argument with the ocean. I didn't win it. I've been put in my place, and now I'll carry on. So, yeah, I don't think that there is a way to really like. It was really hard, but now I've done it. I know I can do it again. I know it. So.
Mhm.
I absolutely know I could do it again and again. Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, amazing. And what is sleep like? I know that you said that you slept for or what does your sleep schedule look like? How do you replenish your strength?
So I had a very different so for solos you can do one of two things. You can do like the teams do and do sort of 2 hours on, 2 hours off, 24 hours a day or 3 hours, whatever your thing is, or you can do what I did, and it was probably half of our solos that this year that did what I did, where you focus really on rowing all through the day and then you try and rest your body at night. But as a solo, because there's no one on watch, you're not really, or I wasn't really ever sleeping. And I think because I've had a baby, and you know what that's like. You've had
Yes.
puppies, I've had a baby.
Yes.
You're familiar with I will sleep but keep an ear out for
Yeah.
something. Um it's really noisy in the cabin, like super noisy. And sometimes you get, this year was so stormy. Some of the waves that hit were so loud. They were like, I thought the boat was going to just crumble into pieces,
Yikes.
like multiple times through the night. So you wake up for that, and you wake up when the auto helm alarm goes off, and you wake up when there's a strange sound. One night I heard a weird squeak that I hadn't heard before, and it ended up that it was the yellow brick outside had moved away. So you're like, you rest, but then the resting hours, they were long. Like I rested, I generally, okay, it wasn't all the time, but I'd say 80% of the, no, maybe 70% of the time I was in my cabin when it was dark, which is probably it's about a 12-hour window. And in that 12-hour window, I would get snatches of sleep, but wake up a lot to make adjustments and to look at my screen. And then I'd do my social media like thing with Indi. I'd like upload a video and blah, blah, blah. So all that kind of thing happened in the cabin. Yeah, but it was fine. I got plenty of rest because I was in my cabin for so many hours, and that was always my goal because I was approaching 50 and I wanted to be able to get back to work when I landed. I didn't want to break myself. I didn't want to risk having seizures, which I've had in the past when I've been sleep deprived, and the long COVID and all that stuff. Like I didn't want to break myself. That was not the goal. So
Right.
yeah, and it was fine. And I still managed to get to the other side really, really quickly. And actually, Ian, who was the third fastest solo, and he came in ahead of Jake, he said that he slept for 8 straight hours every night. Like he slept,
Wow.
but he worked really hard on the oars during the day as well, like I did. So it's still a strategy that can work. And
Yes.
I read the sleep book by Dr. Wolke beforehand,
Oh, wow.
and he says that you must like have like proper like that was a great book, and I really value sleep since. So I think if I hadn't read that book, I'd have been more flippant about it. But
So do you go on para anchor when you're sleeping? What does
no,
you're just drifting.
Yeah, no, you'd only go on para anchor if you were going the wrong way. So if at night, this is kind of why you keep monitoring. If you're drifting in vaguely the right direction, if you've got some west in it, then you let yourself drift. And for me, because I was so on it with my steering, being just a bit west wasn't enough. Like I would keep getting up and tweaking so that I was going to where I wanted to go.
You couldn't really tell if you were to look at your chart for the crossing, you couldn't really tell when you were in your cabin versus when you were,
because I was always steering.
like,
Yeah,
I was always everybody else, I would say without exception, if you were to look at their line, you'd be like, they were in their cabin then, and it's very obvious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't looked at any of the lines or anything like that, but
I mean, it's hard, but sometimes when during the day you're like, I don't know what you were doing because like you are heading to Bermuda, but I mean, you know, everybody has their own row and you don't know what's going on.
Oh, that would just be the weather was the weather was never what you guys saw at home. This was really frustrating to me. So there was one day out of the entire crossing where what it said on the weather was actually what the weather was doing. The rest of the time it just wasn't. So I know it was really hard for people watching, like you guys were like, why are you going north? Like what is, and I'd be like, well, because the waves are hitting me from the south, and it's just not what the weather said was happening. So
wow. Okay, so when you say steering, you have a keel or you're just what is that like?
No, I have a rudder. There's no
Rudder.
keel on the boats, but there is a
Okay.
rudder, and the rudder is attached to the auto helm.
I see.
And so where it's not
So
always
that like
attached to an
keeps
auto
you.
helm, but that set, I tell the auto helm, here's my compass degrees. I want to go at 246 degrees, and it will keep my rudder so that I'm pointing it to as much as it can. It's hard in a rowboat because there's no auto helm system out there that's ever been designed for a rowboat, so they go wrong constantly
Oh,
because
wow.
they're built for bigger, heavier boats that are going faster. So, but you do the best you can with it.
Okay. And then just one last question. In one of your posts, you had this fabulous, scary looking like projectile. Was that a storm or something like that? In one of your things, it was this really big vertical, like almost looked like a tornado.
Oh, squalls. Yeah, we had a lot of squalls. So none of them were twisty like tornadoes.
Okay.
But there would be columns of really heavy rain, like
Wow.
just an isolated cloud with a crazy dark, like almost black rain shower that was coming at you. So the really good thing about facing backwards, which was great in the end. I remember when I first got on a rowboat, I was like, why do I have to go backwards? But actually, out there, when you're going backward, or you're not, when you're facing backwards, you see the weather that's coming for you. And that was
Mhm.
great because you could watch it. You could watch what was about to hit you and you could do what you needed to do to prepare for it. But no, they were never twisters. It was just like very short, intense squalls.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, they were amazing. I
Yes.
loved them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. This was really great. And I may DM you because
Yeah,
as I
do.
said, I'm like really intrigued and
If
would love
yeah,
to.
if there's anything that I could, the one that if it's in you and there's an inkling that you want to do it, like just do it. It is the most, it's the biggest privilege in the world. I mean, there's 31 of us women in the world ever,
Wow.
ever that have solo rowed that ocean. Like what a privilege. It's
Yes.
very special. So
Yeah. Incredible. Incredible. Thank you. Thank you for doing this.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay. Well, let me just see if there's, oh no, we've got one more hand up and then I'll look at the chat questions. Jack, more.
More than us. I'm going to be
Oh,
doing the
okay.
Pacific 2026.
Oh, cool. Nice. 2026.
So
That's next year. Yeah.
no, that's this. I'm in June.
Oh,
I'm going in
shit.
June.
This
Yeah.
year. Oh, so you're going when Liz and Andrew are going.
Yep. So thank you for doing this and
What, so
making the space
envious. I want to
available.
go.
I really appreciate it. So for me, you loved watching your adventure. But as I'm learning, it seems like that time kind of after you get through the seasickness and before you're kind of getting closer to the end is like the hardest time because you feel the immensity of what's before you. You don't feel like you've accomplished very much yet, and you've been sick most of the time. How did you get through that part?
Yeah, it was the cliche, how they say to you like every month or whenever they say they say that the first couple of days you're going to just be really, really seasick. And the next few days you're just still riding on adrenaline, trying to get used to everything in your new situation. And then it hits you at about day 7, and it hit me so hard. I had
Yeah.
I knew it would. Like we all know, we've been told. Like I know it's gonna get to this point. It's gonna be, but I had no idea how hard that was gonna be. And I'm a strong, independent woman, and it brought me to my knees. Like I was so homesick. I was so needing to have Darren and Indy, and I wanted to be stood at my kitchen and just and how to get through it. The only thing that kind of got me through that was knowing that they said this was going to be a thing and that it was definitely going to get easier. But moment to moment, it was fucking hard. Like it was so hard. I There were the two hardest parts of the journey was that sort of 7-day bit where nothing could have prepared me for how homesick I got. And I don't even consider myself to be a homesicky person. I travel
No.
a lot. And, I don't know if you knew that it would hit me that hard, but anyway, it was hard. And then the next hardest bit and this bit nobody really talked about, which surprised me. Well, apart from the coming home and the aftermath, but on the actual row was towards the end when you've got a little bit of time left to go, but you know your family are there and you know that you can see land and you know that there's a finish line. But when you're on a rowboat, you're going so slowly that, okay, you've only got 10 miles to go, but that could be 14 hours of rowing. But what happened in my head was that I was no longer present on my boat. I was at the finish line and I was picturing the finish line and I was with my family and I was thinking about, but I'm almost there, but I'm almost there. And then that made that last sort of 14 hours even harder than it needed to be, because prior to that, you're just trucking through it and it doesn't matter that you're only doing 1 knot in these conditions. You accept it for what it is. But then when it gets near the end and you're just desperate for it to finish, it made it harder for me. I shouldn't have done that. And I wish I'd sort of trained a bit or read more about how that happens. I spoke to my brother on the phone while that was happening. And he was like, oh, yeah, no, this always happens when I run a race, like the last 500 meters are the hardest because I'm not there anymore. I'm at the finish line and now everything's hurting. And that helped to like just sort of talk that through. So, but yeah, there's a lot of crying and you just kind of have to accept it at day 7, just a lot. And it really helped that I could jump onto Starlink in this case and talk to you and like the people that matter, and they just sort of calm you down a bit and let you know that they're still there and you're doing fine. And yeah, and then that passes and you kind of, yeah, they're kind of used to it, like where I was like, I need my dog, I miss him so much, and then it would be like, oh, I thought about my dog for 3 days, like
missing that guy.
Yeah, and the guilt, I was ridden. I'm a guilt kind of person anyway, but like the guilt hit me hard about like how hard everyone was working at home and that here I was and I'd abandoned them. So yeah.
I already have that going on, just doing the preparations too, just feeling like I can't believe my family is willing to support me to do this crazy thing that I've decided to do. So.
Yeah, and to put them through it. Yeah, and that never left me, and I still have it now, and I probably always will. So yeah.
How did your family respond when you initially told them that you were going to do this?
I don't think anyone was surprised.
No.
I just kind of they kind of knew I was going to do it, like in the moment that I knew I was going to do it, like it passed across me and I kind of lit up, and then that was that.
I remember sitting at the dinner party when we learned that Henry was doing it in a few months' time, and I looked at Millie and I was like, oh Christ, she's got that look in her eye.
That wasn't my reaction.
And then she was like, oh, you think I could do it? And then I looked at Henry, and I didn't know Henry that well at the time, and I was like, just choose your words really carefully here, my friend. And he was like, yeah, I don't see why not. And I was like,
yeah, I don't think anyone's ever surprised really about it. Yeah.
No. And
do you know your family wouldn't want to change that about you?
No.
They wouldn't want it. They really wouldn't. Now, you put them through, but you get to live a little bit vicariously through. Wow, that's what I tell myself. That he wouldn't change it. He knows why he married.
My family was very unprepared, I think, emotionally.
It's really hard, and I do think that actually, I genuinely think it was way harder to be Darren than it was to be me. Yeah, like I really I know that, so I'm really grateful because you do put them through it, and we have the best bit because we have the glory and they don't. So yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I can't wait to follow you. Everyone should follow you. That's going to be so good. I hope you send back lots of footage so that we can see what's going on with you guys.
Oh yeah, no, definitely going to be. You were a great model because I want to do kind of similar to what you were doing with, just having those daily updates and blogs for people.
Nice.
And it does just feel like, the hardest time though is you can't really video the hardest moments, right? Because you're overboard and trying to pull yourself back on the boat or something. So
yeah. But I think most people, or I am more interested, you don't have to watch the action as it's unfolding, but I was always more interested when I watch other rowers about them just telling the story of it and how they coped with it and their own emotions to do with it. So yeah. So just share that bit. That would be cool.
Yeah,
I don't
authentic is
I don't know how to not be authentic, so that shouldn't be
I don't either. So, yeah.
Well, thank you, and thanks to your family too for sharing you with us and letting us follow your journey.
Thank you.
Best for June.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And like, call me anytime you need to, like anytime, because just call me anytime you want.
I'm close with Dawn as well, and she's just incredible. So I feel so lucky. Excellent. And so supported. It's a small club, but I'm looking forward to being a part of it.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's so special. It's such a special little club. Okay, I'm just gonna. Was there anything in chat, or should I?
Yeah, Millie, can I say something? I can't.
Yeah.
I can't put my hand up because I think I'm you.
Oh, okay. Let me add you, Elizabeth. Oh yeah, it says Millie.
Yeah. So I was so emotionally invested in the whole thing, and it was like really traumatic watching you some days, and other days it was like it was the relief of knowing that you were okay and you were managing and things. And I may
what
not
was the
be
balance? How much was relief versus trauma?
There was a lot of trauma because I was just worried about you constantly.
Oh,
And
shit.
but it was amazing watching you do it, and it hasn't made me think I need to do it. But I don't know if I'm allowed to ask what was the worst for Darren, because it says ask me anything. It doesn't say ask Darren anything.
Oh yeah. Well, I said to Darren, you have to be there tonight because there will be questions for you, and he didn't want to be here, but
Yeah, and you're not allowed to say the lives.
No, it wasn't the lives. It wasn't anything to do with shop life, as tedious as that can be at times. No, it's the complete sense of being utterly powerless to do anything about the person that means more to me than, you know, I do. Like, I just wanted to pick her up, scoop her up, protect her, fix it, make it right, stop the pain, do whatever I could to expedite it, get it to the next level, move her on, and couldn't, because, you know, we're thousands of miles away. And watching her go through the things that she needed to go through, the whole reason for her signing up to do something like this is that voyage of discovery, and it's a vital part of that process. But that doesn't make it any easier when you are the one that is, you know, just there in the wings trying to offer support. And it's not something that I naturally warm to anyway. I'm pretty closed off. Even, you know, Millie and my relationship is stellar. I couldn't want for anything more, but we're not, you know, we're not warm and huggy and lovey-dovey, and
we don't do Valentine's Day.
Well, hell no, we don't. We don't
or
do
Christmas.
Any Hallmark holiday.
We barely do foreplay.
We can stop sharing.
Sorry, carry on.
That's throwing me. I don't know where I was going. I guess my words of encouragement. I'm much more inclined to default to a stern, get a grip.
Yeah.
And keeping the balance, bearing in mind that I have an understanding of what's going on out there, because, you know, we've sailed it and we've been on a small boat, and, you know, we've had our son there, and I get it to that point, but I have not done it on a rowing boat by myself in those conditions. So trying to assess what is appropriate to encourage her to, you know, you can do it. You've got all the tools.
You were perfect. You were perfect. He basically, he'd listen, which is what I needed. I just needed someone to listen to the fact that the weather wasn't doing what it was supposed to be fucking doing. And then when it got too much, or if it felt like I was wallowing or being unproductive.
One of the things that I learned in our marriage many years ago, and it's one of those things that if there was a marriage guidebook, I'm sure there probably is, but it should be in there. From the male perspective, when your female partner is sharing troubles and problems and griefs and struggles with you, the male default is to want to fix that. But that is not the intention of the reason behind why your female partner is sharing that with you. They don't want you to fix it. They want you to listen, and they want you to give that encouragement for them to sort it out themselves. And when I learned that years ago, I was like, why didn't somebody just say that? Like, you're at the altar, there's a few cheat codes here, do this and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Because there are so many couples, and you see it all the time, and it's a natural response. We are it's a stereotype.
We're just stereotyping here, by the way.
We are the protectors, we are the provider, we are, that caveman, that we want to fix it. But that's not what we're there for in that setting.
And there was a couple of times when I specifically asked fix-it questions, like about tools and stuff.
And I was like, no, you need to grab it by the other end. It's not going to work like that.
No, there was something to do with
Lefty-loosey,
no,
righty-tighty.
that bit. It was something to do with I can't remember, a monkey wrench or anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
And it was fine. I managed to fix it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But also, I wanted to say to Darren, you were absolutely brilliant, because when things were really at a crisis point and everybody was like, oh my goodness, what's going on? You were, I don't know how you did it, because you were so composed and so logical and straightforward in your answers. You did those kind of like, you would do a live and you'd say, look, I know Millie's really upset and I know things look like they're really bad, but, and you would just go through and say, everything's fine, she's good there. And I know for you, it must have been really traumatic, those situations, but you came across so reassuring and so calm. They were brilliant, because at the end of the day, I go, oh, thank goodness for that.
Yeah, there were a few times where I stepped on and did a live, like an extra live. It wasn't even a packing live. It was
no, it was extras.
That was because my phone was literally blowing up. Millie would do a video, and I knew, having watched it, going, oh, this is going to be an absolute dinger. And then the world was ending, and I was like, God, some of these nutters are going to be calling the Coast Guard. They're going to be goodness knows the possibilities that were going to go on, because people were just picking up stuff and it was apocalyptic. And I was like, if I don't squash some of this and add a sense of perspective, then it's going to just go off the rails. And you're right, it wasn't easy, because I watched the same video and I'm like, Rice, Millie's in bits.
Yeah.
And I was, because when I watch it, it is such a dump. It will obviously make me cry. There's no way on earth that I can get through watching Millie in that state and keep a dry eye out. It just ruins me. But then it's okay, pick us up. But then if I give myself a job then to do, and if that in that situation is right, let's try and calm everybody down, and I can switch into that. Okay, let's activate the Y chromosome and fix a problem.
Yeah,
we can. I'll get a video, and it's quite therapeutic for me.
Yeah.
Then, because not only am I talking you guys through the problems and what's going on, I'm running through that same scenario in my own head and reassuring myself that, yeah, of course it's okay, because this is this, that's that, this is going to happen, and it's inevitable that this will follow. And then so it kind of helped me to help everybody else, which it kind of worked.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why people don't overshare like I do, because it freaks their families out.
Maybe. But I mean, it was, looking back, it was, sounds really stupid, but it was such an amazing experience to go through it with you and kind of have the ups and the downs. But I also wanted to just thank Darren for that, because although we were, you're worried, but I mean, it was just like, wow, Darren, you're just so calm, so clear, and it was, personally, I found it. Yeah. So anyway,
it was a front. I was absolutely shitting myself, but I'm glad it came across.
Darren lost more weight than I did.
Yes, he said that he'd lost weight.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, but anyway, thank you.
46 days.
Thanks.
Thank you.
But you should go with me next time. Right. Donna.
He was saying no way.
Come on, ladies. You want to dot watch again. Right, Donna, you've got your hand up, but I don't think I can spotlight you. Oh, there you go. I think I can spotlight you once your camera is on. There we go. You just have to. There you are. Hi.
I've switched my camera on now. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. So I joined this whole World's Toughest Row because one of my work colleagues, Jamie Kidd, was secondary fun.
I love secondary, but they're my absolute heroes. Oh, the Mullen boys.
Yeah. So Jamie works for the same company I do, and when I originally watched, I was like, oh, I'll follow this. And who knew the World's Toughest Row was a thing?
Yeah, I didn't know either.
Yeah, who knew? I became very, very, very invested, and my whole family's got very bored with me watching rowing. Anyway, my question to you is, how did you decide to row solo rather than with a team?
Yeah, I was never going to row with a team. That was never, there was 0 point that I was ever going to row with a team. My introduction to the whole thing was by a solo rower to begin with. And I don't know, is that necessarily, I was never going to do it with, I can't imagine anything worse than to go through that level of intimacy and hardship and then have to consider another person or have them on your boat messing up your stuff and your space and doing things their way. Like, just no. It was always going to be a solo row for me. And one of the reasons I wanted to do it was to see what I'm capable of myself. And I wanted to be able to say that I rode a whole ocean. I rode the whole, I didn't row half of it or a third of it. I rode the whole thing. But it was a lot for me. It was about being alone for such a long period of time, and I would never get the chance to do that in real life, being that isolated, that solitary, that self-reliant. It just doesn't, there's no other opportunity to ever do that. So there's no way that I wanted to share that with someone else. It just wouldn't have, it wasn't it wasn't why I was doing it. I don't know if that explains it. And yeah, the only person that I might have done it with was with Darren, and that would have been a compromise if it made him feel better about it, but he didn't need that from me. So then it was like, yeah, no, I'm doing it as a solo. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough decision.
We spoke about it at very early doors, and I'd sort of said to Millie, if you...
We only spoke about it because people said, would you do it with a team? And if you could do it with someone else, who would it be? And I was like, if I had to do it with someone, it would be Darren.
Yeah, and I was, if you, in order to do it, if you wanted me to be there, then yeah, I'll pick up some oars and go. But it's not like,
it wasn't, he didn't want
not
to do
what
it.
I wanted to do at all.
No.
Nor did I want to do it from the land either, but I didn't get a choice in that. So you kind of play the hand that's dealt.
But I also wanted to have the luxury of flexing my shifts without worrying about like someone else's shift times. I wanted to eat when I wanted to eat. I wanted to sleep when I wanted to sleep. I wanted to play my music as loudly as I needed to.
Yeah.
I wanted to be naked.
Touching on you're a control freak.
And I'm a control freak.
Yeah. In many different ways.
And I am. But it was the main goal for me was seeing how I do a lot, because I'm never alone. I've always got lots of people around me, and I'm always talking to lots of people, and just to see that what would happen to my brain when I was alone for such a long period of time. That's what I was
doing. There seems to be a fairly clearly defined line in the rowing community, and that's
between
people that will only do it as part of a team and people that will only do it solo, and seldom do you get somebody who has a foot in both camps.
No, there's people like Leanne who wanted to do it as a team, but then the team members fell away and she found herself in a solo position, but she still says she wanted to be a team. But generally I am a solo, and I am it's a different race and it's a different thing, and I am 100% solo, and we just
it's really made me it has a little bit like the lady before, it's spoken to me, but the reality is that my life wouldn't allow me to do it. But I'm like you, I'm a control freak, and if I was going to do it, I would want to do it on my own. But there's that fear factor of how do you manage to fix things? How do you? My partner is my fixer. A little bit probably like you.
I didn't know how to fix anything. Darren's always fixed everything, and when we've been out sailing, I didn't know how to fix anything. You just learn it.
Yeah, that was my role on the boat.
It's always been his role.
Anything and everything, because it all broke.
Yeah, I've never had to fix anything. I've never even done laundry, but you just learn it.
No.
You just learn it. Yeah. I mean, with something like this, there's a million reasons to not do it. It's way hard. It's way easier to not do it. So you just have to really.
No, I only have 2 reasons not to do it right now, and they're my 2 horses.
Okay, there you go.
The horses are more important than the people.
Right.
Yeah,
But you know, my family is more
I'll
important to me
think
than
about
rowing,
it.
and I still went and did it. So yeah,
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
yeah.
That's true. I'll watch a few more and see where it takes me.
Yeah. I think with something like this, there's no there's no halfway. Like you need to want to do it so badly or you just won't do it. It's really hard. So
Mm.
if you're not all in, then you're out. And that's the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Are there any chat questions? Does anyone know if there's
Yeah,
anything?
there was a fair bit going on.
So go on then.
Well, I didn't read them. I just
Oh.
noted that there were a few.
Does anyone want to read me a chat question? Oh, I don't have to read it. Okay, I'll read. Just to make for good. Right. It says, Aisha says, you said you felt like an athlete coming into Antigua. Would you like to have that feeling again? I was wondering if you did, what you might do with it. That great feeling of being an athlete on a more routine basis. Yeah, so because I've never been athletic, I've never been sporty, I've never been my relationship with my body, that's one of my favorite insights coming out of this. So I always felt like it was a bit kind of crap and a bit weak and wasn't really built for sports. I've never done any sports, and I felt like the one time that I really, really relied on my body to do what it really needed to do was in childbirth with Indi, and that it let me down. I had this whole story that I've had in my head for 22 years about how when Indi got stuck when I was trying to give birth to him, and I wasn't built right, and there was this big emergency situation, and I've kind of been down on my body even more than I used to be because of that, and then my knee dislocated and just all this stuff, my trust in my body wasn't there. And then I was out there and just doing my thing, and I got to that point. And I think that for anyone that was like really carefully dot watching, you could probably see where it happened, where I suddenly just started motoring and working and had this belief, and I started passing people, and it was amazing. And at that point, my entire relationship with my body changed because I rode for 12 hours a day. Like I rode for 12 hours, like this little body, and that is intense. Like for anyone to be able to row for 12 hours a day, like it's a lot. I don't care who you are, it's a lot. And so yeah, when I'd done that for a few weeks and I'd come in and I was like I was performing and my body was coping and my hands were in such good, yes, all right, they're covered in calluses, but they're in such good condition. I never lost flexibility in these fingers. Look at them, they're freaking amazing. And my tiny diddly wrists coped and I hadn't broken any bones. And, you know, my body was amazing and I was dancing and strong. And so, yeah, I felt like an athlete and I still kind of do. And I'm exercising again now. I'm not as fit as I was when I stepped off the boat, although probably in better condition. I was broken. And I don't know what to do to keep hold of it. This is a challenge. This is one of the things that's getting me down because I can feel it slipping away ever so slightly, and I can feel myself getting fatter. And I don't know. There's nothing like the deadline of I'm going to row an ocean and I need to survive to really make you train. And now I don't know what it is. So I don't know how to answer that. What am I going to do on a routine basis? I mean, when Darren agrees that he's going to go row an ocean with me, then I'll have that drive back again and I'll be really strong. And actually, he doesn't even need to row. I am happy to do all the rowing and you can just sit there and make cocktails. So
Worst cruise ship ever.
So I don't know if that answers it, Aisha. If it doesn't, then pop your hand up and we can have a chat. But yeah. How did you train? Oh, I think we answered that one. It's very loud here. So I'll ask via chat. I have absolutely no idea and no assessment of how life-threatening the whole thing really is. How do you assess the risk beforehand, and how did it actually feel? I've always done water sports, but not sailing or rowing. Yeah, so in terms of the actual danger, I mean, it is an extreme sport, and there is danger, and people have died. So you have to be respectful of that. But also there's lots, it's way less dangerous than it used to be. Communications equipment is much better than it used to be, for one. The boats are great. They're really well built. And if you've done all your training and you've really done your training and not just lied about it like lots of crews have in the past, if you've really done the training, then I think that you're relatively safe. You can't account for everything. There's danger, but
No,
there's
you
danger in
can to mitigate the risks.
yeah, there's danger in just being alive in this
Yeah, people have
environment too.
died going to Tesco's.
Yeah. So, how did I assess the risk? For me, I didn't cheat at anything. I trained really hard. I knew all my safety drills. I knew I'd done everything I could do to keep myself safe, and I'd invested in the best equipment that I could have invested in. So, yeah. Yeah, I think that answers that. It's weird that you guys aren't physically answering. I feel like I'm just talking. So if anyone wants to actually read a question, then let me know.
A question, Millie.
Oh,
Hi,
okay,
so
cool.
it's Sylvia. It's Sylvia.
I'm just trying to find you on the screen. Oh, there you are. There you are. I got you.
It's just something you said. You just said about how your fingers didn't end up cramping like you were told they were and everything. So do you think that's down to you being a prolific knitter and all?
Totally.
That's what I was thinking as well.
I do. I think that like just we're naturally got our hands in that claw hand position, and we can move back out of it. So claw hand didn't happen for me. I know it did for everyone else, and they would end up with claw hand when they got. And then the other thing that happens to rowers is they lose feeling in their fingers, and it happened to everyone. It never happened to me. I never had any numb spots. I never had lost any flexibility. I think that if you're a knitter, you'll be a really good rower, like endurance rower, because honestly, my hands were in such good nick, and I never even had a blister. I just had lots of. So,
well, that sounds like a good reason to buy tons of yarn to me.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. In case you ever need to row an ocean.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sylvia. I'm just reading some more of these until you guys interrupt me. Oh, Sue, you've got your hand up. Interrupt me.
Yeah, okay. So it's just reminded me, yeah, that's another reason to buy yarn. Not that I'm probably going to row an ocean, but go on and row
you
an
never
ocean. I've got to jump in the sea first, right?
Oh yeah, do that. Yeah.
Yeah. I've just remembered that there was that little fear the day or two before you set off with your lifeboat. Just tell us how you sorted that out, because all of a sudden there was this, oh my goodness, this
Yeah, that
work.
was a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in La Gomera, we have our last inspections, and one of the things that we have to demonstrate is that we can lift our life raft out of our boat if we need it in an emergency, like Benoit did. This is very important. And what had happened with my life raft is that I'd sent it away to get serviced. And it'd come back just a couple of weeks before we had to leave. And I'd asked the guys at the service centre to pack it down as small as possible so that it was easier for me to lift in and out of a really small locker that it only just fits in. And they, I should have been clearer, they packed it down smaller so that it was short and fat. And what they really needed to do was make it as thin as possible because it's a long, thin opening. And I'd assumed that they knew the opening because they know rowing boats, but I guess whoever had serviced it and packed it didn't know. So it was the wrong shape for me to be able to easily lift out of the boat. And it weighs
30 kilos.
I think it was 35.
32 points.
Anyway, yeah, it's somewhere between 30 and 35 kilos. So it's not a light piece of kit. And it's kind of an awkward shape. And so when it came time to lift it out of that locker, it was jammed, it was stuck. And if I was a really, really, really big, strong, powerful man, then I could get it out. So Mike, one of the safety officers, he managed to just really, really struggle and get it out. But it was throwing my back out. I was going to slip a disc trying to do it. So yeah, and they'd said to me, if you can't get your life raft, then you're not going, which fair enough, right? Because it's really important. So then I had a few options that included trying to buy a different life raft and one that was smaller and getting it shipped, but nothing was going to get there in time, or I would have to chuck about £10,000 at it.
Just to expand on that, they have a gas canister in to obviously make them automatically inflate.
So you can't
So
just
you
bring it.
can't, it's not like I could just pack one in the luggage. It's one of those, you know, when you packed your own suitcase, has it got any explosive, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Yes.
It's
That would have
complicated.
been the one time where like, yeah, actually, I've got a life raft.
So yeah, it was stressful. It's stressful, very stressful for me. It was also stressful for like the safety team out there. So like, how are we going to fix this? And because the race was potentially being moved forward a day or two at that point, then even trying to get one shipped out. So Mark Slats was trying to help get one shipped out from Amsterdam, but it looked like it just would be a day late. And anyway, in the end, yeah, we came up with the plan that we'd use these straps. And it wasn't the best thing in the world because in an emergency, I'd have to take the straps off. But actually, when I practiced taking the straps off, it was a second, like to just
Okay.
release. Then the other potential complication was that the ratchet bit would become rusty and I wouldn't be able to remove it. So then I'd have to use my deck knife, but which is not what you want near a life raft. But at the end of the day, it was a risk that I was happy with taking with the ratchet strap. And all through my row, I would open up that locker where my life raft was to make sure that it like to check on the rust situation and see how much water was because it's a wet locker and it was bone dry. Despite the fact that my deck was flooded hundreds of times probably that locker stayed, I don't know how that locker stayed completely dry and there was no rust, so it was something that I just kept checking, so I could WD-40 it a bit more if it looked like it was getting bad, but yeah, it was all good in the end.
Wow, thank goodness for that.
Yeah,
Thanks.
definitely it was a scary moment.
Yeah, so when I got to La Gomera, I basically went skip diving and got 4 planks of wood and ratchet straps.
He fixes stuff.
The life raft to reconform it to a slightly different shape, and then took the wooden planks out and left it in.
And it was fine. And I practiced getting it in and out, and it was fine. It was hard because it's heavy and it was still a squeeze, but I could do it.
Yeah, and I did it with one hand. Like
so sort of
coming out easy.
Can I jump in following on from that? Just following on from that.
Yeah.
So that's what fascinates me. I know Benoit had a different boat, but how on earth do you take your life raft out if you're upside down?
Yeah, it's hard. And so the first thing is you shouldn't be upside down because the boat's supposed to be self-righting, right? So you should not. So usually you be using your life raft if your boat was on fire.
Right.
That's pretty much the only, because other than that, your boat is the safest place to be. It's got all your stuff on it. It's got your comms equipment. It's got your food. You wouldn't abandon your boat. But yeah, Benoit's boat is an R10, which has been banned from the race. That boat. So his was the last R10 to go through, and it didn't self-right for whatever reason. But luckily with the R10, the life raft is stored on the outside of the boat. It's not in a locker. It's just strapped down on the top, which is also partly what makes the boat more tippy and wobbly. It's top heavy. Another reason why the R10s have been banned. So it took him 45 minutes to release that life raft, and his was in a hard release, whereas mine is in a soft case. And I picked a soft case because it makes it easier to deploy in an emergency, but then it makes it harder to lift in and out and keep its shape and whatever. But his was in a hard case, so yeah, it took him 45 minutes to release it and
wow.
And get it going, yeah.
Right, because I was imagining
it's just something else. It's next level. Yeah.
But I couldn't imagine you'd be able to dive down under your boat and do what you were trying to do to get it out. I thought you can't do that.
Yeah, I would have had to if I was in Benoit's situation, but it wouldn't. Maybe gravity would have helped. I don't know, but
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to. That's something that's fascinated me.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I'm sure like they say, you get like in a proper emergency, you get some energy reserves that you wouldn't ordinarily have.
Yeah, I mean, all of these things, and part of the beauty of doing this is that I mean, it's cliche, but you genuinely don't know what you're capable of until you are faced with that situation where the alternative is not acceptable to you as your survival instinct. And it's amazing what you come up with. We've had a couple of situations when we were on the sailboat that you genuinely don't think you're going to make it. And there is something that happens,
you draw on something
and you just go, okay,
I
did not know that was there.
And
But
that
I'm
happened to
glad
me
that it
so
is.
that happened to me so many times on this row where I thought I'd hit my rock bottom. I thought there was nothing else I could give or do. And then there was. So yeah. Carron, hi. Let me add you. Hello.
Hi,
Hi.
congratulations.
Thank
Very
you.
exciting. Yeah, very exciting.
It is,
I
yeah.
have questions in the chat, but I'm just going to ask them. And the first one is, how was the first night sleeping? Because I know you practiced before with Taryn,
Yeah.
but and with Liz, I think. But
And on my own. Yeah, a lot of training, and I'd been out there on my own plenty of times too. The first night was seasickness central. I can't even I can't even begin to like it was like this, right? So the first and we knew that it would be a seasick night. The fleet safety managers they told us afterwards that they knew it was going to be that bad, but they didn't want to really tell us how bad it would be before we set out because, why would you say that to people? But it was our first night out. We were 2 days late, so the wind had dropped thankfully a little bit, so it wasn't an amber warning anymore. But the waves were still there from the storm that had just passed, right? And it was hitting us on the beam. But also it was the night where there was no moon. It was completely moonless night, so it was as dark as you could possibly get, which for those two conditions together lead to crazy seasick. So they knew that everyone would be seasick. We didn't know it would be so bad. But for me, I've never known anything like it. It was phenomenal. So the sun went down and I'm rowing and rowing, and then it was pitch black. And all I had was my instruments lit up, which then in pitch black, that just makes you vom. And I was so sick, I just couldn't even stay upright. So I went into my cabin. And from that point on, every time I moved my head this much, I would throw up. If I tried to sit up this much, I would throw up. And I couldn't, I had a little sick thing in the corner of my cabin, and I had the sick bowl just outside my cabin, just right outside the hatch. For throwing up into because I knew it was a possibility. And I'd also only eaten tins of peaches because I knew that it was a possibility that I was going to be seasick. So tin peaches come up easier. And I'd drunk lots of water and stuff. And I ended up I never got to the point where I could even reach my sick bottle, let alone get to the hatch to open the door. And this is my waterproof jacket, right? I couldn't even get undressed. I was so sick, and we all were, that you'd get in your cabin and you'd sort of semi sit up. And I was so sick that when I went to try and throw up, I'd go like this, and that's as far as I was go, and I would just have to go lift my jacket like this and just throw up into it so that it just didn't go all over my sleeping stuff. And so all night I was going "Huh," or "Huh," into my sleeves, and then a couple of times I could just make it to the hatch door and just throw up in the footwell, and it was just a lot of vomit like everywhere. It was just so much vomit, but it was so tiring that I sort of slept there in this sticky vomit covered kind of state until the sun came up a little bit in the morning, and then I had to step outside into the foot area that was also full of vomit. And anyway, it was pretty that was the first night.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then if you had to change something about your cabin, what would you change?
I would have, so I identified in the end why my feet were getting so wet. And it was some of the putty that was around a fitting in the foot plate that was allowing salt water to drip, especially when it was like all the waves and stuff. So where we thought it was just condensation, it wasn't just that. I would have changed that. I would have fixed that leak before I left if I'd have known, but it probably didn't start leaking until I was on the boat. So and it wasn't the only boat that it happened to, but I would have double checked that.
Autopilot controls inside.
Oh yeah, I would have put the auto helm controls inside. No, and I don't know, just nobody has this. Yeah, nobody's got the auto helm control so that you can like adjust the angle inside you've got to like reach outside for it. I know why that is, because they used to use an old one called the ST100 that had buttons on it, and that nobody uses that anymore because it breaks really easily. Anyway, so yeah, I would change that. I would have it so that I could make little adjustments to my auto helm from inside my cabin.
Okay.
It was a big safety risk that I had to keep on opening it in the storm.
And then comfort wise, would you change anything with that?
No, you're just not
No.
comfortable.
Okay.
No. I love that I had a beanbag that was long, like a sausage to hold on to like this, because you get thrown around. You're basically in this giant washing machine. And if you haven't got something to hold on to or like grip like sort of against your head, then your head just spends all night. You get kind of whiplash and thrown around. So it was good that I had that beanbag. I don't know what I'd have done if I hadn't got that. I guess I could have held onto a fender. I think that's what Alan did. But yeah.
And you didn't need the sheet, or like the sheet
No.
was, yeah. Okay.
I had a sheet and yeah, I did need like because the mattresses and stuff that you get on the boat, they're plastic, and my skin didn't like being on plastic. So I had the cotton
Right.
sheet to sort of be a barrier between me and the plastic. But all of it was disgusting. It was salty and gross. And I in my head for some reason I thought that I'd be able to, I was like, I'm never going to get in my cabin with wet clothing, and I'm always going to be salt free, and I'm going to shower down before I get in there. There'll be no salt in my cabin. Well, that just doesn't happen. It was disgusting. My skin was disgusting, and it didn't matter if I showered right, which I did. I quite often tipped a whole thing of water over me before I got in my cabin. But there was the humidity and the salt water in the air and the spray and the mist. You're just salty. You can't get
Okay.
away from it. Yeah.
And then was it hard to keep everything charged?
No, not as a solo. No, you have
Okay.
more power than you know what to do with when you're a solo. You have more
Okay.
water and power than you know what to do with. So
Okay.
not a problem.
And then how often did you clean the bottom of your boat? Was that once a week or?
Oh no, you can't be as regular as that. It depends on the weather. You can't get in that. Like, so we had major storms, and there's no way that we were getting in as solos to clean the bottom. I got in 3 times. You could only
Okay.
get in when it was safe to do so, and more often than not, it was not safe for us to get in this year. It's not
Yeah,
like that every year.
the risk of the boat crashing down on a wave on top of you when you're underneath it is
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, there's that, but also we were so stormy,
now,
we couldn't
but
get, I would have just been dragged along, and then I'd have been too tired to climb back in, and then I'd have drowned and died. So
Right.
yeah.
And then let me see. I think that's it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very
Any practical
exciting.
questions, Karen? Sounds like you're well on your way.
Well, I need an answer from them.
Oh, you just have to email that. I emailed Nikki 3 times a day. I called her, left her voicemails every day. Like
Yeah.
she kind of needs to know you're serious. So you just need to
I'll
stay
keep
on it.
going.
Keep going. Yeah, just keep like honestly, that's all I did. Like she told me to come back in 4 years' time, and I was like, nope, I'm gonna just keep writing to you every day. So yeah.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Oh, hang on a minute. Debbie. Oh no, wait, where did she go? Oh, Debbie, you had your hand up and then your camera switched off. If you come back, Deb, let me know. She was there. I don't know if it was really very weird.
she's back.
Oh, there we go. Is she? There you go. But she's not. It's just a picture of nothing.
She's back.
Oh, there you go.
She's knitting something
There.
very bright.
Excellent. Hi, Debbie.
What are you
Deb.
knitting,
Yeah.
Deb?
How are you? No, so first of all, if you ever get to Connecticut, everybody thinks you're my best friend because it's strange telling people that there was this Scottish woman across the sea that I'd never met who was rowing the ocean, and I was obsessed. So if they ask you, we're very close.
Okay, got it. Got it.
I was actually really worried when you got the eye infections.
Oh, yeah.
Anything else with that? Are your eyes okay? Because that, I was like, how can she overcome that?
Yeah, that was really hard. That was so hard. Yeah, my eyes are fine now. And I still don't know what caused it. It was like the perfect storm. So I discovered mold in the cabin, and it was that windless time when it was really, really hot and my skin was starting to bubble up, and all that was happening. And I was wearing sunscreen, so that was going into my eyes because I'd not had to wear sunscreen before. And then, yeah, the kind of the brightness, I guess it was just that horrible. So I still don't know if it was fungal or viral or bacterial. I'm pretty sure it wasn't bacterial because the ointment made it worse. And yeah, it got so bad that I literally, like, it was just one evening and one night when I couldn't open my eyes at all. And I knew I was heading that way. So I had to try and memorize where stuff was and buttons on the sat phone, and it got really scary. And because you're out there and you're kind of feeling a bit irrational, I was in a lot of pain with my eyes, and I hadn't slept. So normally I'd be getting some sleep and some rest, but I couldn't at all. Because of the pain in my eyes. And also, it was that time in the doldrums when I was rowing all through the night as well, because I had slightly headwinds. Do you remember? So that was like 24 hours a day rowing. It was relentless. And then I couldn't open my eyes. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. That was hard. That was the end of week 2, I think.
Yeah.
Do you think it was sunscreen?
Did I what?
Do you think it was sunscreen?
I don't know. I still don't know what it was, but I stopped wearing the sunscreen after that, and I didn't uncover any more mold, and the wind picked up. So I don't know what it was that fixed it, or it was just my own body that got itself over a viral infection. I was very run down. I had calls. I had to send pictures every day to the doctor guy, the fleet doctor, and he kind of just said, keep using the ointment. There's nothing else you can do. Didn't have drops because the drops need refrigerating. So yeah, and then I just tried to sort of wash them out with. I tried to boil some water, cool it down, but again, it's like nothing's that clean on the boat, so I didn't want to be messing around too much. But thankfully, they got better. Otherwise, I'd have had to be rescued. But yeah, thankfully they did get better. And I'm very aware of eyes and eye health because I had that amoeba in my eye. So I wasn't wearing contact lenses. I never would. I know some people did, and it is against the rules. And I would never take that risk, which is why I had my nice sunglasses marks. Yeah, it was hard. Yeah, thanks for reminding me about that. Oh, you're silent. Yeah, I need to go talk louder, Debbie.
Never going to get the perfect wind, but so which would you prefer? A calm, quiet day with no wind, or the crazy wind that moves you quicker?
Crazy wind.
Crazy.
Every time. Yeah. It took some getting used to, and I didn't want it when I first had it. But then when it went away, I was desperate to have it back again. It's really scary first thing in the morning, that crazy wind, or the first time that you're stepping back out in it when you've had a bit of a break or been inside for any length of time, and you get back out, it's really overwhelming, and you kind of sit there on your seat going, holy shit, I'm going to die. But then you move and you start to get into it. It was always scary. This was a scary, fast year. It was a dangerous year. But I would take that. It went from, oh, my favorite wind condition is 13 knots. If only I could have 32. My favorite is 15. My favorite is 18. I want 21. So yeah, that's how, like, these conversations I had with Liz, my weather router, she'd be like, oh, you're going to get 15 today. And I was like, oh, I want 18. She was like, you were complaining about 18 last week. So yeah.
Well, you did awesome. We're all so proud of you.
Thank you.
Terrific job.
Thank you. Yay. Julie, you have your hand up. Let me add you. I know we're talking and talking. If anyone has to leave, that's okay. I won't take it personally, but I'm going to keep talking.
Hi, Millie, me again.
Hi, Julie.
Hi. Did you have lots of sponsorship?
Yeah, I did. My knitters mainly. So I had some corporate sponsors, 5 of them. And then, but the vast majority of the sponsorship came from my tribe customers mainly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like over, I think it was more than 2,000 people, I think, in the end, that gave small amounts that added up. So yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was great.
So I'm in South Africa and I looked at your yarns. Oh my gosh, what I would do to be there. It is like, it's like
Well,
a
we
kid
sell
in
to South
a.
Africa. We ship yarn to South Africa all the time, so you can still.
To where?
So we ship all over the world.
But to private shops.
Oh, yeah, no. Well, we ship, well, I don't know. We ship to whoever orders whatever they order. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, it is delightful.
There you go. No excuse.
You've got beautiful, beautiful yarn.
Thank you. It is. I'm very lucky.
Yeah.
Speaking of yarn, Merete, are you still? Let me spotlight you.
Hi again.
Hello.
This is another question. I was wondering, like, because I design sometimes knitwear, and I know you've done that as well. I would have imagined that when being with the sea, you describe how you were with the sea, that would like clear your mind and give you lots of knitting ideas or like construction ideas or whatever. I'm really curious about how you were with the sea and how your mind kind of, where was it drifting?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, so no, I didn't design anything in my head out there. I think I assumed just like you beforehand that I'd have all this space in my head to do that and come up with new creative ideas and the new strategy going forward for my shop and all this stuff. But I was focused on survival so much of the time and the direction of my boat and what the wind was doing, and so I didn't have that kind of space. But when I was there was space for what I really thought about a lot was more I revisited parts of my past. I thought about the people that mattered to me. I thought about my relationships with people, the ones that count. And yeah, it was just much more personal than that, rather than using the time to strategize about anything that wasn't happening to me right there and then. Like I was very present with where I was, so I wasn't thinking about work or the shop or any of that stuff, which is good because I think it would have taken me out of the really special place that I was. I spent a lot of time just looking at the sea, which changed. I mean, it checked like it. This is such a surprise to me because when you're on a boat, no matter how small the boat is, like our cat that we used to sail in was not a big catamaran, but you are above, you're like a meter or so above the sea. You don't, and you've got like, you don't have the sea right here, like next to you. The sea just like it changed like every few minutes it would change. It would be unrecognizable to what it was a few minutes before. The patterns on it and the fingerprints on it and the shape of the waves and the height and the direction and the personality, its mood, like it changed constantly all the time, and you didn't need anything else to think about. It was just observing what the sea was doing, and the fact that it would slap you every so often. You'd get a bit comfortable and you'd be like, oh, this is going great, and then it would like whack you in the head or yeah, I didn't have the headspace to be not where I was. Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome. And that did surprise me because yeah, I thought I would have time, but I didn't. Right, let me whiz through this, see if so inspire me to do it. I'm gonna do what? Have I
gone to the bottom again?
Oh, okay, well we'll go backwards. Or should we go forwards? I don't know. I'm not good at reading these things. Read the sleep endurance. I think I read that one already. Maybe. No, maybe I didn't. Endurance ultra athletes realizing that a few good hours of sleep leads to performance. Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, definitely. And also the fact that women are doing so well in endurance sports. It is so good. Carron, you'd asked your questions. Swan mode. I don't know what that means. Oh, probably you with your yeah. I still can't believe you beat Tom. I can't believe it. I can't believe how many teams of four I beat. I beat teams of four. I beat the Ocean Oarsmen, who are professional, the pair of guys that are professional rowers. I beat them. And Tom, I mean, I honestly just, it's incredible, isn't it? What we can do. How long before you bought your boat? How long before I bought my boat? Oh, so I signed up to the race I finally got, well, okay, I found out about the race the year before it started in about October. And then by the January, I had already bought a boat, and then I wasn't accepted onto the race until June after the January that I bought the boat. So yeah. And then it got delivered the January after. So I had the boat for 11 months
to train
on. Well, and it wasn't really 11 months because it got shipped in September. So I guess I really only had it for 7 or 8 months to train on. So yeah, no, it wasn't very long, but that's not typical. Most people get a lot longer to prep for a row. I just don't have the patience to do a 4-year campaign. All right. I don't know if we've got any more questions. Have we got any burning insights or anything? How was dot watching? Was it good? Did you enjoy it? I loved dot watching in the years before when I've watched. I used to wake up in the night and check on the people that I was checking on.
Yeah, it's amazing how invested you get in people. So Millie and I had watched it for a couple of years prior and not really known the people that were doing it at all, but it's amazing how invested you get. Yeah, but there were people in that year.
Yeah, that we got really, yeah.
I still hadn't met them.
Yeah.
And yet was very invested in their journey, their experience.
Yeah.
And hugely emotional about what it was that they were going through. And it was a funny thing.
And then the arrival videos,
when
you cried your eyes out.
Watching. So I'll just cut to Antigua, where we're preparing for Millie coming in, and Carron was arriving that morning. So Millie's brother Amit and Indi and myself walked along to the fort to watch her coming in, thinking we'll do a dry run, we'll know how long it's going to take us to do the trail to the fort, see what that's like underfoot, because we knew we were going to be doing it in the dark, get ourselves orientated and generally prepare for what's coming. And Carron came into view. My knees essentially buckled underneath me. I was crying before I could even see her. And after she finished, I had the most emotional release. And I was like, oh, there is no way on earth I'm going to have to get airlifted from the fort back to the finish line to be able to watch my own wife come in. This is ridiculous.
Which is later that same day.
I was like, how on earth? But it was a bit like that when you left, watching other people go, and
it's harder.
It's such an emotional drain. But then your arrival, I was in a totally different headspace. It was not, I didn't have the same emotional release.
It's weird. We cry more for the other people. I was the same. Like, I was just really happy when I landed. I wasn't.
I think
it was just a lot more joy than there was tears, I think, for us.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I'm quite a cryy
It was hell of a
person.
day. We were at English Harbour. We didn't know exactly when Millie was coming in. You know, the conditions were changeable and Millie's progress was changeable, and you know, you lose a knot here and there, and it adds, you know, another 3 hours to when it's coming in. And we'd gone for Carron's arrival in the morning, so we were essentially there for 11 hours, just really sitting and waiting, which is great for your headspace for sure. And I've got Millie on the phone at various points throughout the day,
screaming,
just feral.
Oh.
It was, trying to summon up the number of times throughout this entire campaign.
Well, the last one was me saying, I'm going to kill Fraser. You need to get him to stop fucking texting.
We handled that.
Yeah.
But the number of times during this whole thing where I'm not sure how many more times I can draw from this well before it runs dry. It's another one of those, and it is you don't know what you're capable of, but in a different way. It was purely emotional. It was, what have I got left to summon up to be able to put a face on, to present to you that things are okay and you'll be fine, when I'd got nothing left either. And I haven't been anywhere. I haven't rowed any distance. I'm just in tatters on land going, gee whiz, this is
It was
awesome.
It was a
so
hard bit.
glad you signed us up for this.
Yeah.
What an experience.
I don't know why we're talking about that, but yes, there we go. Galaxy S24, Anne. Let me spotlight you. You've got your hand up. Oh, it's very dark where you are. Oh, there's
sorry, I'm in bed because I'm at work at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, no worries.
Just going back to that final day, the when when we saw you when you were saying, I'm trying so hard, Darren, I'm trying. That sort of hit in our hearts, never mind in your hearts. But yeah, you could feel how hard it was. Just a very vacuous question that you've probably already, did you miss knitting?
No, I didn't
No,
actually.
I didn't. I thought that would be the answer. And
Yeah.
can I ask the terrible question of what was the journey of the bunting?
Oh, I've got it. It's here. It's upstairs. So the bunting.
We weren't allowed to put bunting up. The finish line is in a national park in Antigua, and they are very protective over what can be displayed and what can't. And
I've got it though. I'm going to turn it into a jacket.
Into a jacket.
Yeah.
The world's toughest row asked, and we were denied. So yeah, it's in a bag.
But it's
we
beautiful.
brought it back with us, and it's here.
Yeah.
Yes, we put all our thoughts into it. It was us
beautiful.
reaching out to you.
I didn't actually even see it until we got it back here because it was all like plastic protected and I got told it was bunting, but I hadn't really seen it. And then we got it out here and it's beautiful. So I'll make something nice.
And there's masses of it. Like we
There
could
is
have
like
decorated a marquee for Barnum's Circus. It's you guys are busy.
It's brilliant. It's really beautiful.
You should get
We had a
out.
lot of fun making it.
It was really
We
beautiful.
did. We did.
Yeah, and but the start line too was an emotional. Anyway, I'll talk about that another time. So yeah, anything, have I missed anything? Lee says the hug you two had on the dock. Yeah, it was nice, wasn't it? It was nice just to actually physically like have you in real life back again. It was just such a joyful finish. I'm so glad that it was it was just so colourful and
Get
happy.
it finished. Yeah.
No, it was so good. It was so good. And I didn't know what casting was going to ask. It was so good and so, but like the bad bits were that I thought I'd be able to have a shower and actually put on the clothes that I'd meant to be wearing for the finish line and wash my hair and not be so sweaty and disgusting. And I thought I'd have time to run through questions that Carsten might ask me and think about all that. But then that last bit was just, it was so hard. I didn't do any of that. And I was just wearing my bra and my shorts that were sweaty and salty and disgusting. And that's how I landed. So yeah, it's a bit like the whole journey. It was all just like, here it is, take it or leave it, not free. Yeah. So okay, cool. I think that we might have possibly like shout if you've got anything else. I'm very happy, as you know, just keep talking about it. And I will try and record more. I've got loads of little insights that
I
are
got a
actually
hand
really
up.
cool. Oh, sorry, someone's talking. Who's that?
Yeah, I got a hand up. Merete.
Oh, hi. Oh,
Sorry.
you've got your hand up. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Well, it was just like I can hear you rounding up, and I think that's totally fine. I was just wondering if you would keep us posted about how you come to insights and if things like in your life is changing because of this. And also just want to comment on Darren. I love also hearing your story.
Thank you.
So thank you for sharing that as well. So I just hope that you will keep sharing because there's been so much up till the race. We followed you for a year or something, many of us.
Yeah, I know.
And then
Yeah.
during the
There's all
race
that
and
training.
now. Yeah. So it
Yeah,
feels
I forget
really
about
weird
that.
if it just stops
But
right now.
yeah, for sure. I
Yes.
will. And I talk through it with Tracy a lot, and she's helping me to sort of put into words a lot of the insights, I guess, or whatever we want to call it. So I wish I'd just recorded those sessions with Tracy and just recorded those and shared those with you because they were amazing. But I will record them and put them out there, even though I don't feel like I'm particularly prepared to be giving anyone any wisdom. And some of the stories that now are popping into my head from during the row, and the more I talk about it, like I was talking to Rory the other day, and I had another thing. I was like, oh yeah, this happened. So I will try and record those as well and share those with you, and this little bit of the journey and how I'm getting back to real life and whatever comes next, and the way my personality has changed a little bit, and it has. There's been things that have changed, and that's natural. It's good. So yeah, I will record that and I'll stick it on the Instagram page. And if it's useful, then great. If it's entertainment, then great. Okay.
Oh, thank
Thank
you.
you.
It's been wonderful.
Oh,
Been
good.
great
I'm
to
glad.
share it with you.
Thank you. Thanks for joining. I've got this recorded, so for people, there's a few people that couldn't make it, so I'll send it to them, and I hope that's all right with all of you. And bye for now.
Thank you all.
Have a
Thank you.
fab
Bye-bye.
weekend,
Thank you
Millie.
so much.
Thanks,
Bye.
Millie. Congrats.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.